Hi, my name is Terry Westwell and welcome back to Panic at the Book Club. This week we'll be discussing Tag You're Dead by Kathryn Foxfield. So same as usual, if you haven't read that yet, go and do that first because there'll definitely be spoilers. And if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Tag You're Dead is a young adult thriller through the eyes of three people, Grayson, Erin and Charlotte, as they take part in a live streaming game in London. That is until the game gets hacked by a ghost who has something else in mind. Starting off with a game of tag with a spooky twist, the characters find themselves in a real life whodunit. Considering the book was from three different perspectives, it had a really good way of separating the characters. Even if it didn't have the chapter titles that told you whose perspective it was from, you could really read between the lines and figure out really easily which character it was. Which I think a lot of books really struggle with, especially when they do have so many characters. The writing was really simple yet effective, and I can't stress just how easy it was to be introduced to new characters and retain that information. So you just hate it when you're reading a book and you get bombarded with 100 bloody characters, and by the end of it, you don't remember a single thing about the characters. Yeah, I didn't get that with this book, no matter what. Like, we were introduced to quite a lot of characters, but no matter what, it was so simple and straightforward, and it was really easy to paint the picture of any of them. It was actually a really nice, refreshing difference in comparison to some of the books we've been reading. So, Grayson. Character Grayson. Did I suspect him? Not at the beginning. Um, I mean, there's definitely a point in the book where it seemed really obvious and it couldn't have really been anyone else. Especially that first time where Erin confronts him about knowing where the pool was, even after stating that he'd never actually been to Anton's house before. I think that was quite a big hint. To be honest, he just kind of seemed pretty useless. Like, he went into this game for revenge with no plan whatsoever. Like, I suppose it didn't really seem he didn't really seem too suspicious at the beginning, one because he was useless, but also because he blamed Anton so much for what happened that there was just no room left for guilt for what he'd done. Like, he didn't even seem to blame himself or like have any remorse for what he did. Because if it wasn't for Anton and the rest, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. Like, he was just in complete denial. Just like when Rose dumped him in the first place. Like, she would never dump him. That was because of the influence of Anton and the others. Because she would never leave him. Evil people were changing her. Couldn't possibly want to leave him, because why? Had to be all their fault. The denial was there after she dumped him, and the denial was there well after he killed her. I didn't specifically have anything. I think there was anything wrong with this character. I just didn't think that he was capable of murder. Like it was just purely based on luck and other people's stupid decisions. If it's anything that can be taken from this character, it's that no one good wears jeans that skinny. Out of all of the characters, I felt pretty bad for Erin. She had a mom and she was doomed to live the same sort of awful life with her boyfriend until she realised just how he was too. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feel bad about the mum or the boyfriend dying. I just kind of, they were both, and at least now she has no choice but to be free of them. Erin was strong and clever and confident and occasionally very. She was an influencer, and to be honest, I really thought she was going to be a lot more annoying than she was. But she ended up really growing on me. Charlotte, on the other hand, was annoying and weird and confusing. Well, I must say, she definitely redeemed herself in the end. Like, I was really glad she snapped out of that bloody Anton obsession. I get being a writer, no matter what weird you write about, and having a vivid imagination. But, and no judgment, if you can't tell the difference between your own vivid imagination and real life, you should really talk to someone about it. Like, I originally justified it when she got attacked because I thought, well, she'd previously been hit on the head and she's not quite there. But no, apparently that's just her, and apparently that's not cause for concern. Apparently it is just a common occurrence for her. I'd like to think these crazy, obsessive fan type people don't exist, but I think they do. Despite my deep lack of understanding, I think it is genuinely a thing. Throughout most of the book, she was a little brat away in fairyland, and despite Matthew being a bit of a meh character, she was so mean to him. I felt quite bad. Like, she was so just childish and mean to him. Like, he looked out for her and he was there for her, and she was just an absolute brat. Like, correcting everyone who said that she was his sister, and oh, because he moved out of the house. Like, when she moved in, he moved out of his bedroom and slept on the sofa, gave up his bedroom for her. Now, one, there's not a teenager who would do that. But two, what did she expect him to do? Like, he moved out of the house after a while, but what did she expect him to do? Live on the sofa for a number of years? He did such a nice thing and then she punished him for it. Which, if you ask me, is a little bit unfair. So, Matthew's girlfriend, Beatrix, didn't actually have that much of an opinion on her, other than the fact that she's an idiot. Like, If I suspected my partner killed someone, I'm not going to clean up the crime scene unless, one, I know they killed that someone, but two, I had a better reason to suspect that he killed her. Like, all she knew was that, one, it was probably a guy, and two, Matthew had had a few arguments with her recently. But there was a ton of people at that party, and I just think that it was a bit of a leap and a jump to assume that he'd done it. Did I suspect Lenny? Much like with Grayson, kind of didn't until it was really obvious. But I just feel like it was really obvious too early on. And I liked her character, but just felt like she lacked a little bit. Like I really wanted more from her. Like I don't really know why she gave up in the end. Like I get maybe she felt a bit defeated because it turned out to be Grayson who was the murderer, who, despite her ulterior motives, did I think end up becoming her friend. But I just didn't like that she went through all that and then just went, oops, I went a bit too far and give up now. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would have been really interesting to have a chapter or two on her perspective, like maybe even from the ghost perspective before you knew it was her. Just to get to know her a little bit better. I really did enjoy this book, but did have a few issues with it. I know that the book is directed towards a younger audience, but I really don't think that that means that everything needed spelling out for them. It's something that was a mystery, and all of a sudden, there was some super non-subtle clue that kind of gave everything away, and it was just I just didn't think that it needed to be that obvious. I don't think the clues needed to be that spelled out. It did kind of ruin the ending a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Just think the author really underestimated her readers, and it didn't ruin the book by any means. It just made it so that the big reveal and the twist ending just wasn't nearly as dramatic as it could have been. However, the overall premise I really enjoyed, and for the most part, the characters were really well written. Now, would I recommend this book? Yeah, I think so. I think for anyone who doesn't mind reading books that are targeted at a younger audience, and for people who might not read too often and are wanting quite a nice, easy read, I think it's definitely one that I would recommend. Overall, as I said, I did really enjoy it. It just some elements took a bit of the mystery out of it for me. I think it was just a bit too obvious, and revealed a little bit too much in what it thought was a subtle clue. So, on that note, please let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the book? So, next week we'll be discussing Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below by Monday the 12th latest so that you can be a part of the discussion. The following week we'll be discussing People on Platform 5 by Clare Pooley. Now, if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, don't forget I do now link the next 4 books down below, as well as the discussion dates, so you don't have to miss out. Now, if you did enjoy this book, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thank you very much for joining. Bye.